Yo guys, what's going on? Robert Warshack here. We're going to be covering over the best decks now that the mini set is out. We played a bunch today, probably like 8 to 10 hours on stream we played today. And for those of you who have all the cards and you don't want to buy the mini set, this is very good for you because the meta hasn't changed at all, which we'll get into. What are the best decks and why? So with not getting a balance patch or any nerfs or buffs prior to the mini set coming out, the mini set was already, it looked fairly weak, and a lot of the stuff that is inside of a mini set, because each class only gets 3 cards, really just helps round out what decks already exist. Mini sets don't really create too many brand new decks just because of just the sheer volume of cards that are in it. There's just not enough. Also, I know the StarCraft mini set felt like a whole expansion with how powerful they were, so every mini set's not going to be the same power level of StarCraft, right? So unfortunately, because we got no balance changes and the good decks are so much better than the bad decks right now, that there's really no room to play any of the new cards, because they're either going to go into already established good decks and make those good decks better, or if they're going into like not that great of a decks because they're new cards, no one's going to play them, because why play bad decks? Just play the best decks. And that's why we're seeing the only basically new deck that is on ladder right now is what was essentially already a deck. That's the OTK Imbue King Plush. So the whole part is you change your hero power over to give the minion or the random beast in your hand plus attack and discount. However, now they have the Tending Dragonkin, which is Battlecry, copy the lowest cost beast in your hand. So on turn like 5 or 6 or 7, King Plush has like anywhere between 12 to 16 attack. They go ahead and play the Doomkin, which copies it, and now you have 2 0 mana 17, 14, 13, 20 attack King Plushes. I mean, and if it doesn't sound consistent to you, here's a turn 6 picture that we took on stream today. We are at turn 6. Here's my opponent at 6 mana with 2 King Crushes at 17 attack each, which just killed me. So there wasn't really much counterplay from there, and that happened multiple times on turn either 5, 6, or 7. So while this deck wasn't really super popular before the mini set, it was still played to combat all of like the Demon Hunter and the Taunt decks and maybe some Paladins, because again, OTKing your opponent's very powerful. But it kind of was like, it happened generally around like turn 7 to 9. Now it's happening from like 6 to 7. So yeah, Imbue Hunter, very, very good. A lot of people playing it. I played like 5 of these in a row. And again, it's not really a new deck. It's a deck that already existed but got better because of this one new card, the Dragonkin. Moving on down to Zucchini Priest or Zarimi Priest, which the whole deck is to skip your turn with this Battlecry once per game. If you played 8 other dragons, take an extra turn. This is probably the easiest, just best deck you could play if you're a beginner player or don't play that much Hearthstone. It is absolutely insane how good this stick is, how easy it is to pilot, and you're just skipping your opponent's turn and killing them. So the combo, for you who don't know, you play this Narlax, which make your dragon cost 1, and then on turn 8 you could then weave in the Ysera, and then that gives you 3 mana, and then allows you to play 3 more dragons, and then the other 2 dragons are 2 Briar Spawn Drakes, and then you play Zucchini. You end your turn, Briar Spawn Drakes attack, it's your turn again, they attack again, the whole combo, and it does anywhere between like 40 to like 75 or 80 damage, depending on how many cards you have on the board, what they have on the board, what Briar Spawns hit and whatnot. But yeah, super AIDS deck, not my favorite, but is a very popular deck, very, very good, and a ton of people are still playing it. It was maybe like 30-40% of my games today. Moving to Big Demon Hunter, this is another very, very popular deck. A lot of people are playing it. Involves the Ball Hog, so you play Ball Hog. This does Battle Cry and Death Rattle, deal 3 damage to lowest health enemy. It has lifesteal, so it's very, very hard to chip the Demon Hunter down when they're constantly healing from this. And then the Fell Hunter again summons more Ball Hogs, and then you have Cliff Dive, which pulls out the Inquisitors or Mags or Ball Hogs, which again then just do a shit ton of damage. The Dussy is just found in most decks right now. People are just playing it to play it. It's a very, very good burst, and it's just bringing back a minion to your opponent's hand is very solid. It has, of course, the return policy that you can use on your Fell Hunter to get 2 more Ball Hogs. And there are some people that do run like 1 Fell Bat if you need like a little bit more value. But generally, this leaner list that just tries to get its early stuff down and kill your opponent quickly is the list I see. This Fell Bat one is a little bit more value oriented, but value doesn't matter if you're just killing your opponent on turn 6 or 7 with Cliff Dives or a zillion Ball Hogs, because again, if the Ball Hogs live, that you get lifesteal, and if they die, they're doing 3 damage a pop, and you're summoning a gazillion of them. So yeah, the Big DH, very forward deck. Again, if a lot of these decks, if you're beginner to intermediate, these are not very high skill cap decks. You play the card for the mana, and it kind of just does the thing. Moving to the Menagerie Death Knight. This again was a list that was getting more popular over time. This would probably be considered the newest popular deck. It does run the Menagerie Jug, which is the fun card. It's a 5 mana 3/3 battle cry. Give 3 random friendly minion of different types +3/+3. Essentially, this is a 5 mana, give +9/+9 to your board, and it's a 3/3 itself. We've got a lot of different stuff in this deck, whether it's going to be undead, it's a pirate. A lot of these things have multiple tags. You have demon, the leeches are beasts, you have murloc undead. There's just a ton of stuff in this deck that you're able to buff up, and it's very sticky, has a ton of burst. This deck has actually caught me surprised a few times by the amount of burst it has, and it's a really fun deck. And then of course the foam render, because there's no really corpse spending card in this deck, and there's a ton of corpses, so having the foam render in there, I've even seen players run 2 of these just because getting it out on 5 is really important, because it's just basically 5 damage a turn, but I think 1 should be good. But anyway, Menagerie Death Knight, very fun deck. A lot of people went from playing the buff Death Knight, which we saw a lot of with like Quillbore and Poison Breath and all that, and a lot of them have moved to this more faster Menagerie list, because the other one required you to find the buff card, and then you buff them, and then you have to play them, and then they have to live. This deck, you're just playing minions, go, 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 and you're buffing them when they're already on the board rather than buffing them in your hand, and when they're on the board, you get to attack with them. So Menagerie Death Knight, probably out of the decks we've covered so far, in my opinion, probably the most fun, a little bit more versatile, and it'll be a little bit more skill testing, because there's just a lot of options per turn in a deck like this that you have to pick fun. Meanwhile, the other decks so far have kind of just been really streamlined to like how you win. So Zarimi Priest wins by skipping your opponent. The win condition is exactly the same every game. The combo of cards you're playing is exactly the same every game. While a deck like a more of a mid-range Menagerie Death Knight, the games will feel a bit different, which I think is really important. And then my literal, probably hated as much as the Zucchini Priest or Skip Turn Priest, is the Drunk Paladin, or the Dussy Paladin with the Ursul, with the Shaladrassil and the Sea Shanties and the Lanessa. This deck has like 1,300 win conditions. I don't know how they do it. This deck draws exactly the same way every game, whether it's them leading with Slither Spear, juicing this guy up with all the auras, and then making 0 mana 8/8s, which for some reason this list that I pulled being the most popular is not running the 8/8s. I don't know. I have to either be crazy or what. I don't know where the 8 mana, or where the 8/8 that gets discounted for every spell you play. He's not in the deck, and I cannot find him in my collection. I might just be crazy, but I know that's a real card because I've seen people play it. But anyway, you've all seen this Paladin deck. It is definitely a contender for the absolute best deck in the game, because you can just win by spiraling out buffs on your vicious Slither Spear, or you're winning with like a field of like 0 mana 3/3s and buffing them. You're winning with the Lanessa into a bunch of buffs into coins, or you're winning into a 0 mana summon 15/15 in stats from Sea Shanty, or you're winning because of the Ursul into the Corrupt Cedrasil into the Lanessa to deal a gazillion damage from hand as well. So there's just like, there's so many win conditions in this deck. It all just flows into each other. Every turn you're just doing crazy amounts of everything, and the deck is just ridiculous. So, and if this deck is too slow for you, there's actually an aggro deck that essentially does the same thing as that deck, but it's even more aggressive with stuff like the Crusader Aura, which is whenever a friendly minion attacks, give it +2/+1, and you run a lot of stuff like the Mother Duck, because she summons 3 other ducks that can attack, which is actually insane. You run Flash Sale, which buff the board, and of course you run the Maul, which the Maul is always drawing your Ursul and Dussy. So eat 1 Maul, you draw this 1 card, and it guarantees on turn 8 that you have your super late game. As soon as you play Ursul and Dussy's popping and you're not dead, you're just winning. That's it. If you get a turn where you get to play the corrupted Cedrasil, you just win that game. It's like the old, if Savannah Highmane attacks face, you win. Same thing with that. But yeah, very fast-paced deck, and kind of does the same thing but slightly different, but again, just slightly more aggressive than this particular list. But both of them basically are doing the same thing. The end goal is the same, you're just getting there a little bit different. And with that, I would love to say that there's more really good decks, but there's not. You could argue that like Ashmane Rogue is okay, and there's like some other fringe decks, but if you're gonna go by stat wise, I mean, these decks are just absolutely at the top, while everything else you can play, but these are by far the most popular and strongest decks that you can play right now. And there is very little room for any other deck to do what these do, because again, the Ursul Cedrasil is going to outvalue any control deck that exists and outdamage it with just those 2 cards, which again just come from the Maul guaranteed. So they will always have it on turn 8. And then you have Zucchini Priest, which again just skips your turn by turn 8 or 9. So if you don't have more than 60 to 70 life, you don't magically play Dirty Rat and it pull one of these you pull one of these few combo minions from a very minion heavy already hand, which again is just, if Dirty Rat's pulling the combo cards, like Kibler said, you know, they have 7 minions in their hand and the 2 of them are combo pieces, the chances are Rat's not going to pull the right one unless it's against me, and then it always will. But you guys see the point. So yeah, mini set, bit of a, like, bruh, I don't know how we didn't get balance changes before this mini set. So I'm assuming next week we will get some balance changes, because at the moment literally none of the new cards are playable and are found in any of the popular decks. On top of that, today on stream, it took, I think, until 3 hours of playing Hearthstone to queue and play against somebody who played a single new card. Like, I played the game for 3 hours on the day 1 of the mini set, and it was like a Fryak the Dragon guy. That's the only new card I saw from anybody the entirety of today's 10-hour stream. It was Fryak and then the Hunter card, which again just is part of the OTK, which you don't even really get to see the card. You just see the card that it copies, which is King Plush. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, again, the balance change allows us to play with the new stuff and kind of tones down the stuff that's absolutely decimating the ladder. So with that, thanks again for watching. Catch you guys in the next episode. Of course, I'm Robert Warshack, and happy whatever the hell day it is.